Hey friendlies, I'm Carolyn and welcome back to my RV life. I have a huge announcement today that I am so excited about. I've been dying to tell you guys this for such a long time and the day is finally here. The time is finally right. In addition to my big announcement, it's also my first premiere. So I think it's over here. I'm going to be over here chatting with you guys while we watch the video together. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But for those of you who might be new to my channel today, for the last 3 years, I have been living in an RV. And as I said in a video a couple weeks ago, my whole purpose of living in an RV was to be able to have the freedom, basically by lowering my overhead, to be able to do the things that I love to do. And that means travel more, hike more, and just really just be free and live a nomadic life, which I've been doing for 3 years. And I love my nomadic life. But really, when it boils down to it, I just didn't want to have to pay the high cost of storing a whole bunch of junk that I didn't need in a rent or a mortgage payment. It didn't make any sense for me anymore. And I'm going to put a link to that video up here in case you missed it, kind of my story. But today is the big day. I am going to announce what our next big adventure is, because I'm going to be taking you with me.
Ain't nobody gonna do it for you. You got to mind your own.
All right, you ready to start guessing what my next big adventure is? A lot of you have already been guessing, and it's been a lot of fun watching what your guesses are. So how many of you, and remember I'm over here chatting, how many of you think I'm gonna need this for our next adventure? And it's our next adventure because don't worry, I'm taking you with me. So how many of you think I'm gonna need this? And I'll be over here chatting away. And if you do think I need this, where do you think I'm going with it? And how many of you think I'm gonna need these plus a whole bunch of other gear? Who thinks it might have something to do with these trekking poles? How many of you think it has something to do with something that might go on this finger? I can't believe how many of you think I'm getting married. That would be like the best kept secret ever. So how many of you think it's that? How many of you think it's something else? Well, a lot of you, I'm selling my RV and getting a van. Some people thought that I'm giving up RV life, going to Europe and getting an RV and traveling around Europe. So there's been all kinds of speculation and all kinds of guesses, and I've been getting all kinds of emails. And I guess it's time to reveal what our next adventure is. What do you say? Oh, hold up, wait. Oh my God, my camera. This picture is really bad, huh? Oh man. All right, I think I figured it out. Okay, yep, I think that's better. Oh yeah, I think that's better. Ah, much better, don't you think? All right, you ready? No more messing around. The big next chapter of my life is I'm going to hike 1,000 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail. Yep, that's right. I'm going to spend part of this summer and fall hiking the entire state of Washington and Oregon on the Pacific Crest Trail. The good news is I'm taking you with me. I've been working on my camera gear for the trail, and I'm going to be taking you with me. So that's the big news. I hope you're as excited as I am about this big journey. This is huge! So what do y'all think? I'm over here chatting. I hope you're all looking forward to spending 2.5 to 3 months in the wilderness of Washington and Oregon with me. And I'm going to be over here chatting with you. So I'm grinning, look at me, I'm grinning ear to ear. And I hope you're excited about coming with me and learning what it's like to hike 1,000 miles over about 2.5 to 3 months. So you probably have a lot of questions. I'm going to answer some of them today, and then I'm going to save some of the bigger questions that are going to go more into detail for future videos. First of all, I'm sure some of you are familiar with the Pacific Crest Trail, or the PCT, but many of you probably aren't. So the Pacific Crest Trail, not to be confused with the Pacific Coast Trail, which doesn't exist. I used to think it was the Pacific Coast Trail too, but there is no such thing as a Pacific Coast Trail. It is the Pacific Crest Trail. There is a Pacific Coast Highway, but not a Pacific Coast Trail. The Pacific Crest Trail starts in California at the California-Mexican border, and it ends at the Washington Canadian border. Usually people start in California at the Mexican border and hike north. And I'm going to share some lingo with you here. A northbound hiker is often abbreviated. The acronym is NOBO, N-O-B-O. So that's a northbound hiker. Some people do go the opposite direction, and I'm going to get into more detail about that in a minute. And the southbound hikers are called SOBO, S-O-B-O. And I'm not going to tell you at this point which direction I'm going, of course, because I have to be concerned about my safety, since I do share my life publicly, and I will be sharing my hike publicly. I have to consider safety, so I'm not going to be sharing a lot of the details of stuff like that about where I'm going to be and when. So most people start the Pacific Crest Trail about late March through April at the Mexican border. And the Pacific Crest Trail runs up through the desert, and then up through the Sierra Nevadas, and then through the Cascades in Oregon and Washington until it finally ends at the border. And the entire Pacific Crest Trail is 2,650 miles, and I am only doing 1,000 miles, so I'm not even doing half of it. However, the John Muir Trail, which I did in 2015, most of that is on the Pacific Crest Trail. So this will give me almost, with this hike plus the John Muir Trail, it'll give me almost half of the Pacific Crest Trail. And the good news is the John Muir Trail is the toughest section of the Pacific Crest Trail. It's like 50,000 feet in elevation gain and loss over just a little over 200 miles. And it is by far, everybody knows, it is the toughest part of the Pacific Crest Trail. So I've already done the toughest part of the Pacific Crest Trail. However, the second toughest part of the Pacific Crest Trail is northern Washington. And I think the elevation gain and loss there is about, I think, what did I read, 30, maybe 40,000 feet. So it's a lot of ups and downs, a lot of mountain climbing, a lot of going down mountains, and that is in northern Washington. So so I'm going to be tackling the second hardest part of the Pacific Crest Trail as well. And you might be asking why I'm not doing the whole thing. Well, I'm 4 years older than when I did the John Muir Trail. I'm definitely not in the same shape I was in when I did the John Muir Trail. And honestly, in order to do the whole Pacific Crest Trail, I think they average like 20 miles a day. And even when I did the John Muir Trail, that's just not how I like to hike. I'm not out to do a race. I don't want to race. I want to enjoy being out in nature. And that was my goal when I did the John Muir Trail. I just wanted to spend 30 days in nature. I didn't have to do it fast. And it's the same thing here. I don't want to have to push myself. I don't know that I can, to be honest with you. I don't know that I could do 20 miles a day. We'll see. I'm going to try to average 15 miles a day on my trek. And so that's why I'm not doing the whole thing. The other part of doing the whole thing is they have to pay attention to the weather and the seasons. When they start in April at the Mexican border, they have to plan it so that they're not getting to the Sierras too early, because hiking in snow and avalanche and cliffs that are snowed in are very, very dangerous. And so they have to try to time it to get to the Sierra Nevadas after the snow melts, or at least during the snow melt. And then of course they have to not get there too late or too early, or I'm not sure how that works, because also once the snow starts melting, then the rivers and streams start gushing, and they're extremely dangerous to cross. And then they have to get to Washington before the first snow falls in Washington. So it's really, that's why they have to hike so many miles, because they really have to time each section with the seasons and with the weather. And most Pacific Crest Trail hikers end up doing the whole 2,600 miles in about 5 months. And I'm doing 1,000 miles in about 3 months. So that's the background. That's the story of the Pacific Crest Trail. Like I said, I'm going to be doing 1,000 miles. I hope to average about 15 miles a day. On the John Muir Trail, I think I averaged about 12. I learned a lot from my John Muir Trail hike, and I'm going to get into that in future videos about nutrition and just some of the logistics that are going to make this hike hopefully a little easier for me. I don't know. We'll see about that. So the people who hike the entire stretch of the Pacific Crest Trail, or any trail, if you start at the beginning and end at the end, that's called a through hike. through hikers go from beginning to end. I, on the other hand, am going to be section hiking the Pacific Crest Trail. So while I through hiked the John Muir Trail, because I started at one end and ended at the other end of the trail, I section hiked the Pacific Crest Trail because I did about 200 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail. And also I'm going to be section hiking the Washington and Oregon sections, so I will be section hiking. And I'm sharing this lingo with you because it might come up in future videos and as well as while I'm on the trail. And so it'll help you kind of understand the hiking lingo. The next question most people who have about doing a long hike like this is, how the heck do you carry all that food? So here's my backpack. At least right now, I'm still trying to decide if I want to change my backpack. That's almost a brand new backpack. I bought it after I did the John Muir Trail. It's a 60-liter backpack, but it weighs 4.5 pounds, which is really heavy. And I'm thinking about buying another one, but we're talking $300 or $400 just to cut a couple pounds, and I don't think that it's going to be worth it. But right now, that's my backpack. So it's a 60-liter backpack. I'm trying to get my weight, my base weight down, which means my base is my tent, my kitchen, my cooking equipment, and my sleeping pad, my sleeping bag, my in this case, my camera gear. I've been out practicing what camera gear I'm going to take with me, and I think that's the basics. I think I got everything. Cooking, tent, sleeping pad, sleeping bag. I'm trying to get all of those essentials down to 20 pounds and never carry more than 15 pounds of food. So most hikers average 1 pound to 1.5 pounds of food a day. And how we manage that, of course, you know, if I'm going to be on the trail for 90 days, that means, of course, I can't carry 135 pounds of food. And so how we handle that is there are resupply points along the way in any major trail, the PCT, the Pacific Crest Trail, the CDT, the Continental Divide Trail, and the AT, the Appalachian Trail on the East Coast, or on the east. I don't think it's on the coast, just like the Pacific Crest Trail isn't on the coast. They have towns, sometimes little towns, sometimes bigger towns, and sometimes the town is right on the trail. In some cases, they're like 20 miles off the trail, and you either have to get a ride or a shuttle or hitchhike, and a lot of hikers do hitchhike. In places where the trail runs through, it's very safe. Most people are used to it. And so that's how I'm going to manage my food. I was working on my resupply, trying to finalize it yesterday, and I think I've got about 10 resupply points, or was it less? I can't remember at this point. But basically, I am going to end up having in a couple stretches to carry about 10 days worth of food, and that's what I did on the John Muir Trail. I only resupplied 3 times on the John Muir Trail. So I was out for 30 days. So I was carrying 10 pounds of food with me, and that was a lot of weight. My pack at its heaviest was 42 pounds, and that was one of the mistakes that I have learned from. I am not going to carry that much weight. My goal is to get my entire pack fully loaded with food to never be more than 35 pounds. And 7 pounds doesn't sound like a lot until you're climbing a 4,000 foot mountain, or, you know, a 4,000 foot mountain at 10,000, 11,000 feet, where the elevation is high and you've got, you know, thin air. Oh boy. If you haven't read my John Muir Trail blog, you might want to check that out. I learned a lot from how hard that was and how difficult it was. I made a lot of mistakes, and well, I'm not going to say mistakes. I learned a lot from that hike, and this hike is hopefully going to be better. How do I handle resupplies? Well, and this is going to be a fun video. I've already been thinking about it. I have to buy 3 months worth of backpacking food and prepare 3 months worth of meals and snacks, and then I have to prepare them all in boxes and send them to myself. I have a team already that's coming together to help support me on my hike. One of my oldest and dearest friends is going to be kind of like my main go-to. She's going to be, I'm going to give her the schedule for the resupply, so she'll have my schedule, so she'll know when to mail my resupply boxes to me, and they'll be all addressed. So I have a friend who's going to be mailing the boxes to me, and then I'm going to hike to the towns and pick up my food resupply. So it sounds like fun, doesn't it? Let's check in over here. What do you guys think so far? This isn't live, so I can't converse with you through video, but over here I'm going to be commenting, and so I hope. Look at my grin, just setting up my tent this morning. I can't wait, and look where I am. It's like home. and I look forward to spending 2.5 to 3 months. And that's another thing. I am 25 pounds heavier and 4 pounds or 4 years older. You know, I'll be 52 this summer, and you know, stuff hurts from time to time. And so I'm going to attempt, I should have said that, I'm going to attempt to hike 1,000 miles on the trail. And I'm totally giving myself permission. If it gets too hard and too painful, then, you know, I'm just going to do as much as I can. And if I need to leave early, that's okay. I'm not a quitter, though. Anybody who's been following me for a while, and even if you've read my John Muir blog, I was miserable at the end. I was absolutely miserable at the end, but I didn't quit. And so, you know, barring a really horrible health issue or an injury, I know how to take care of myself better. Part of the challenge is not only the miles and hiking 10, 15 miles, whatever, every day, is you get trail weary. I spent longer on the trail than the typical John Muir Trail hiker because I didn't do as many miles. And while the physical exertion is difficult, it's also difficult to live in the elements for that long. And so I'm going to be living in the elements for 2.5, 3 months this time, sleeping in the cold, sleeping on the ground. And even though, you know, I've upgraded a lot of my gear, it wears on you. It really wears you down after a while. And so 3 months is going to be a long time, and it is going to get, it's going to be challenging. It's going to be, but that's what I love. That's what I need. I need physical challenges in my life. I need intellectual challenges, and that's what keeps me alive and keeps me sober and clean and keeps me happy, really, and content and fulfilled. And so I think it's just going to be so fun to take you guys. And, you know, I literally will be like doing videos on the trail. Of course, I'll be posting them on a delay, but you know, there'll be nights I'll be in my tent and I'll shoot a video and I'll post it when I can. There's not going to be a whole lot of internet signal on the trail, and so I will be most likely loading videos when I go in for my resupplies. And why don't we talk about the logistics of my channel while I'm on the trail? My goal has been to do one throughout the entire summer, to continue to do one RV related video a week, and then do one trail video a week. But that means I've had to double up on my work. And as you saw in a video about several days ago or a week ago, how much time editing takes, it's impossible. There's no way I'm going to be able to create, 12 extra videos. I decided 3, 4, yeah, the 12 extra videos. I just can't. So I'm going to probably end up doing 2 videos a week on the trail. And I don't know, if there'll be trail videos about my hike, and I might also just do some of the videos that you all enjoy. When I'm out here hiking, I get introspective, I get thoughtful, I get mindful, I ponder big things about life, and I'm sure that I will be motivated and inspired to share some of that with you. And I think that my core followers enjoy that about my channel, and so you will definitely be getting your fill of that, and I hope you're excited. Are you excited? What do you say? Oh, you don't say. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, hi. I'm just kidding, of course. All right, I'm talking fast again because I'm excited. Stay tuned. Subscribe to my channel if you aren't already subscribed. Over the next several weeks, couple months, I'm going to be going through my gear, because you probably want to know how I cook. You probably want to see maybe my sleeping bag, my sleeping pad, and maybe some more information about my tent, which, by the way, is an REI quarter dome. And I'm going to be, and of course, my food shopping and my food choices and all of that fun stuff I'm going to be sharing with you. Are you interested in that? Let me know over here what you're interested in and what questions you have that I haven't covered already, and what might be some good topics for videos, okay? I want to do a big, huge thank you and shout out to my BFF fun and we're in it together friendlies. They have been keeping this secret for, I don't know, 3 months, 4 months, longer. And those of you I met at the RTR and the WRTR, I did share this news with some people that I met in person. Many patrons, actually, I met at the patron meet and greets at the RTR. And I did a special announcement for the BFF and Fun and WITT patrons several months ago, and they have been keeping the secret for me for a long time. So if you want to be in the know about what's going on and keep my secrets for me, join Patreon, because I do share a lot of things with you know, I have to be careful about what I share with whom because of the issues I have with trolls and haters. Certain levels of Patreon weed out any trouble, and so I'm able to share things there that unfortunately I'm not able to share publicly. And fun. They've been following me along with my training. I've been doing some training hikes. I've already been out on one overnight backpacking trip in the desert, and maybe I'll put that together now that it's out, the cat's out of the bag, and I'll share that. Would you be interested in seeing that? Let me know. Do you want to see the one night backpacking trip I did in the desert? So I will tell you, you know, when I first started this, I'd go out and do a few miles, and I did a 32-pound pack the other day and 8.5 miles. And so that's the heaviest pack I've trained with so far, and the most miles I've done with a heavy pack. I've done as many as 10 miles in a day, but with like a 27-pound pack. So I've been in training mode. I've been doing, you know, a little bit of shaking down on my gear and fine-tuning my gear and getting ready for this big adventure. What do you think? Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. I hope you're as excited as I am. And patrons, stay tuned. Right after this, we're going to do a live stream for patrons, and so that I can answer any questions that you have. So go to Patreon and click on the link there, and I'll see you there. And everyone else, thank you so much for being here and being a part of my journey. I hope you are excited about spending 3 months in the wilderness of Washington and Oregon with me. It's going to be fun. It's going to be an adventure. It's always an adventure, right? All right, I'll see you all soon. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Patrons, I'll see you on the live stream in a few minutes. And thank you all so much. I'll see you soon. In the meantime, be happy, be free, and be kind. Mwah! Happy trails!